Yeah, so right now, by the end of probably November, I'll be at about 18 transactions from when I started last year in November. So I'm averaging about 2 to 3 deals a month. Um, I would say half of those are listings, the others are investment related deals, flips, multifamily deals. So that's kind of where I'm at consistency wise.
Welcome to the Land Life Podcast with your host, PJ Riley.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the LandLife Podcast. My name is PJ Riley. Guys, if you're getting value from this podcast, make sure you leave 5 stars, leave a comment. Leave a comment even if you don't like the podcast. If you're like, dude, your background sucks, your shirt looks, I don't know, wrinkly, dumb, I don't know. Leave comments. Leave lots of comments, good or bad, either way. Guys, today, Riley Ricobene is going to be leaving. He's going to be giving you a ton of information, a ton of really cool stuff that is going to be actionable. And at the end of this podcast, he's going to let you know of ways you can get in touch with him. So ways you can contact him, email, social media, all that kind of stuff. So make sure you stick around to the end to, so you can catch up with him and find out how he's so successful. So Riley, how you doing, man?
Doing well, PJ. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Thanks for being here. So Riley was introduced to me from a guy, John Barnack, who was just on the podcast, on the last podcast. And John's a super successful guy out there in Chicago, really nice dude. So he's like, hey, I got this guy. He's a star, man. He's one of our big stars. You got to talk to him. So that's how I met Riley. Riley, like I said before, great name, but you spelt it wrong. It's okay. I'll let it go. It's we're gonna just say it out loud. Riley. We'll just call each other Riley the whole time. So, yeah. So you're in Chicago, right?
Yeah, I'm out in the Chicago suburbs. I grew up in the Elmhurst area, but I'm currently living in Villa Park, right next to
Okay.
each other. For those of you familiar with the Chicagoland area,
Where is that? North, south, east, west?
directly west of the Loop, which is the main hub of the city.
I gotcha. I had I had a few kickboxing matches in Chicago, and it was supposed to be at this big event, right? This big venue, and it was supposed to be like downtown, kind of a nicer area. Well, the place flooded, and so they're like, "We're moving the event to this place in a place called in a town called Cicero." And I was like, "Oh, okay. I don't know Chicago. I've been there a couple times. I kind of hang out downtown, go to some bars and stuff, and then leave. Right? I never hang out." So I get there, we get our rental car, and we pull up to this place. We park it, get out, and go into this venue, and it's this great big church, huge church that's been gutted into these basically a boxing arena. And so we go in there, and the guys are like, "How'd you get here?" And I'm like, "I drove my rental cars. Our rental car is right out there." Me and the guys that I went with, and they're like, "You shouldn't park your car here. Like you should take a cab here. Never park your car here." Like, what are you talking about, dude? It's like, you got a parking lot. What do you have a parking lot for? Like, no, this place ain't safe, man. Go back, get your car, go back to your hotel, get in the cab, and then come back. So that's what we did. We were like, we had no idea. Like, yeah, that thing's gonna be on blocks by the end of the night, like if it's there at all. So there's different parts of Chicago. There's some places you got to be a little bit aware of. So Riley, that's my story. Here's your story. Let's take us back a little bit. You're a young dude, man. You're super young. What are you, 25, 26 years old?
Yeah, I'm 26 right now.
Dude, super young. So let's take us back as far as, I mean, it's not that far, that got you to the point we're at now. Let's give us a little bit of background on you.
Yeah, so pretty much a year ago, I guess, a year ago today, actually, was when I made the official switch into a full-time career as a realtor. Before that, taught special education in the Oak Park area, LaGrange area, some other suburbs in Chicago. Really felt like it wasn't what I had originally thought it was going to be. It was definitely emotionally taxing as well. Definitely a tough career. So all you teachers out there, I definitely appreciate you a lot. But really just connected with a mentor of mine, Mark, through LinkedIn. Just had messaged me. Honestly, just opened up the message with how much is a polar fairway, enough to break the ice. That's how our initial conversation got started. Was originally looking at other brokerages as well. Just wanted to really get the full landscape of what was out there. Had originally thought I was going to go with EXP, like their model, until I met Mark. Mark explained a little bit about Real's model. Really fell in love with that. Felt like I was going to get more equity in the company than I would with EXP. Felt like I kind of missed that wave. So here we are today, full-time realtor at Real.
Nice, nice. And are you all like what does that look like on a day-to-day basis? Do you stay in the city? Are you running around the suburbs? Like where are you at every day?
Yeah, so most of the time, I'm trying to work at home when I can. I have a little one at home, so I try and help out when I can. But for the most part, I split time between our office in Downers Grove and then working from home as well.
Okay. So I like
So
to
that's
make this as
split about
actionable.
50-50.
Okay. Okay. So you're at home, like running around the street, running around as well about half the time. And like I said, I like to make this actionable. Like people can listen to this and take something with it. So as a young guy, I mean, transition is really hard. I mean, it's hard at any age, but especially as a young guy. You're teaching special education. I get you met this guy, Mark, and he resonated with you, right? It sounded great. But how do you do that? How do you transition from education into real estate? That's a completely different world. Like, kind of talk us through some of the things you had to do and had to, to get to that point.
Yeah, it is a lot of trial and error. Unfortunately, it was definitely a little bit rocky at the beginning, first month or so. I was able to get my first deal in my first month, but it's a different structure than you have in the W-2 income. You're getting a paycheck every 2 weeks. In real estate, you could be waiting 30, 60 days just from one deal to get paid. So that was a huge adjustment for me. I think the biggest thing I realized was just continuing to build that pipeline, talking to more people, getting my name out there, and finding more investment properties. Any way to build up that pipeline is how I'm able to really stay consistent with my business.
Yeah. So were you going to like networking groups or anything like that? Were you meeting people in person?
I did go to a couple of networking groups, really just built relationships with a few people, and that's really all I needed.
Mhm.
I knew going in, I didn't want to be the traditional retail broker. I knew I wanted to focus on the investing side of the business, and a lot of that has to do with my reading, I guess, of the Bigger Pockets podcast website. All their content is great. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Good plug for Bigger Pockets too. They're here in Denver. If you get a
Yeah.
chance, guys, check out biggerpockets.com.
Yeah.
It's like the Facebook, I guess, of real estate. I don't know. Let's
I would
call it
agree. I would
that.
agree.
Facebook of
Yeah.
real estate. Yeah. So if you're not
Yeah.
on there, check it out. It's really cool. Okay. So I kind of want to ask, since I talk to a lot of investors that are seasoned, let's say, we're not going to call them old. We're going to call them seasoned, right? Like guys like me, they've been around for a few years. When I go to a networking group, it's easy because I do it all the time. When you're a new guy though, and you have maybe one, two deals, how do you present yourself when you're going to talk to these guys? Are you, I mean, because I go to a lot of networking groups and I see a lot of these new guys and they run in, they got a suit and they're like, hey, I can do $1 million in deals. How, and it comes off as inexperienced, like immediately. So, a lot of guys out here will try to talk these guys through their, I mean, maybe talk them through their inexperience, I guess. But how did you do it? Because you didn't stay at the bottom for very long. You were new only for a short period of time. And now you're taking off. Like how did you get to the point there where you were talking to these people all the time to, I guess, how were you able to present yourself?
Yeah. I think number one is just like something as simple as just the tone and confidence and the way you present yourself. There's so many nonverbal things that people can pick up on to determine that if you know what you're talking about, whether maybe you don't know what you're talking about. So I think just backing up that confidence with facts and also just showing that you're a hard worker is going to go a long way. And at the end of the day, you're making their lives a lot easier as investors.
Yeah. Yeah. So guys, when you go in there and especially when you're new, even when you're not new, just be a normal person, be a nice guy, be like that, average, not average guy, but that normal guy, shake hands, talk to people like you would talk to anybody else. If you come across as a little bit maybe unrealistic, I mean, I've talked to guys that tell me they're going to make me millions of dollars, and this is the first time I've ever met them. I'm like, yeah, all right. What? I don't know you, man. I don't. Hi, my name is. Shake their hand first, maybe. It's really tough. I get it because everybody was new at some point. But you got to go in there and be a little bit more, be real, be a normal person. Talk to them, be confident. Let them know what you can do, and have a little bit of experience backed up, whether you did it or not, or you maybe read about it. You read about the statistics. You kind of have those to back you up. Okay, so now we're a little bit further ahead. Where are you at now in your business? How many deals are we talking? How many deals are you doing? How many houses are you selling every month, year? What's it look like now?
Yeah, so right now, by the end of probably November, I'll be at about 18 transactions from when I started last year in November. So I'm averaging about 2 to 3 deals a month. Um, I would say half of those are listings. The others are investment related deals, flips, multifamily deals. So that's kind of where I'm at consistency wise with my business.
Okay, so let's go back real quick. You just said this is your first year?
Yep. Yep.
Your first, okay. That means that's so much different now. That's like even bigger than it was before because I mean 18 deals in 1 year is amazing, but also jumping into a new career, explaining to your I'm some wife, child, you got a new kid on the way, jumping in, that's an even bigger deal. So you really went for it, man. And 18 deals in the first year, that's pretty amazing. What kind of help are you getting from your team in the office now? Like how are they guiding you, mentoring you?
Yeah. So from the beginning, it was a lot of hands-on mentorship, but it was also a lot of responsibility on me.
Mhm.
So if I was going to find a fix and flip, and I was going to bring John, our managing broker, with me to walk through to make sure that I'm estimating the rehab correctly, as well as just daily meetings with our team on Zoom. So we do all of our meetings on Zoom. And that's essentially the foundation to the hands-on training out in the field. So listing appointments, John went on listing appointments with me when I got started, as well as just day-to-day texting, calling, and really just taking the coaching from things that people before you have already done.
Yeah, yeah. So guys, when people want to help you, and the guys at the top do want to help. It's so interesting. Like when you get in, you're like, they don't want to help me. I'm nobody. I'm the new guy. They don't want to help me. No, they really do. And when they do, make sure you run with that. Make sure you really take it in and you respect their time. A lot of these guys they're big 7, 8 figure guys. They're really working. They're tearing it up out there. And when they're willing to spend time with you, really take that advice and run with it. Okay, so we're at 18 deals now. That's huge. What do you look at? What are you anticipating for year two if year one was already 18?
Yeah, I'm looking to essentially add another 6 deals for the calendar year of 2023.
Okay.
I think where I'm at right now, I have some systems in place that have been consistent for consecutive months. So I'm just hoping to build on that and eventually reinvest in some other systems that'll help explode my
Okay.
pipeline.
So systems are super important to me. What do your systems look like? Are we do have virtual assistants? Are these people in the office? Is this automation? What are we looking at for your systems?
Yeah, so I do everything on my own currently. I'm not at the point where doing all the back office stuff, so to speak, is consuming too much of my time. So really, it just comes down to time blocking, building a schedule. I'm also just tracking all of my deals. How am I closing these deals? Is it sphere of influence? Is it op city? Is it a fix and flip that I found? Whatever it is, finding what's generating the most revenue for me and just continuing to build on those systems that are already working.
Yeah, so you're just busting your ass.
I have to, man. We got a little baby at home. That's the only motivation I need.
I got to tell you, man, this is really fucking cool, man. So a lot of people you'll talk to, and especially when they see videos online, right? They see all these other guys doing things. They're like, well, wait a minute. I do this business. I also have to do this one and that one and this one and that one. Don't I need multiple streams of income? Right? It's a little bit deceiving because if you don't bust your ass like you're doing on year one, these next things will never happen, right? Another thing with systems is people try to farm out everything. Well, if you're making $0 and 0 cents at the end of the year, what's the point? I don't do any work. Yeah, but you don't make any money either. So that's super interesting, and I love to actually hear that. There's a guy out there just busting his ass and working hard. What are the goals? What are your big goals for this business? And we'll roll into investing here in a second. But like as far as what you're doing now, what are the big goals here?
Yeah. So my end goal is to be producing 20 million in closed transactions. That's kind of my end goal right now. On top of that, I'm also focused on building a team. I have 3 guys on my team right now. They're starting to really ramp up in production. So my hope is to really just get them going, and also just continue to add some other team members.
Sweet.
So my goal is about 3 to 4 agents a month.
Okay. Okay. So you're building a team then too. You're building up big time. That's awesome, man. Okay. So let's shift gears a little bit. You're also investing. We got our first real estate investment property in the works, man. How does that look? What's that look like?
Yeah, so I got this deal actually through a guy on Facebook. I'm just in the Chicago local investor group. Saw this guy Rod was posting some properties that I found interesting. Thought they were priced well. So I just sent him a DM on Facebook. We met at a couple properties, hit it off right away, and I was able to basically secure this deal through him. On top of the fact, my dad is actually also investing on this deal with me.
Nice.
It's a gut rehab right by the United Center, which is where the Bulls and Blackhawks play. So really developing area. Really excited to see the final product. So I'm really excited, really just to see the growth of that building and continue to build on that and grow in my portfolio.
Yeah, so you do all the work yourself. Are you the guy that's running in there with a hammer, knocking shit over and working, or are you hiring a team and doing that?
No, yeah, we hire out a contractor. Essentially, my business in this deal is really just to get the tenants in there, screen them, do all of that work. We do have a property manager that we already signed on, so we're all set there. But it's pretty hands off, other than me just getting the tenants in there and making sure they're good quality tenants.
Yeah.
And I'm not putting any of my own money in this deal. I'm just getting equity in the deal for adding value to the deal.
Okay. Okay. So let's unpack this deal a little bit. You found the deal on Facebook, right? Guys, don't sell Facebook short, man. Buy, sell groups, marketplace. Check those things out. People will, if you're a guy that has grandma's house and you got to take care of it because grandma gave it to you. Grandma died 5 years ago. You got to get rid of it. And you don't know shit about how to sell a house. A lot of these guys are putting them on Facebook. They'll just post this house on Facebook Marketplace or this vacant land property or grandma's self-storage property that blew, half of it blew up. They'll put those things on Facebook and they're trying to get rid of them. So check those things out. Don't sell that page, that website short. Okay. So you find it there. How'd you find the contractor? How'd you meet this person?
So I actually met the contractor through the guy that supplied me with the off-market deal. And his numbers are really solid right now. So I'm really happy with that relationship as well. I think his prices are a little bit lower than industry average. He's been doing this for 40 years. So someone that's well respected in that community.
Yeah. So you met a guy on Facebook that sold you the property, right? And he was willing to introduce you to his contractor. Is that right? So
Correct.
that's a big deal, man. That's all about relationships. Just finding somebody, you meet a new person, and if you don't hit it off, right? If shit's going sideways and they're like, yeah, this guy's all right, I'll sell it to him, but I don't really like this guy. He's not going to introduce you to anybody. You're not going to meet any of his contractor buddies, any of his people that he works with, because he doesn't want his reputation to get blown, right? So he introduced you to this contractor guy. Okay, cool. You got a guy fixing the house. First of all, you get the deal from relationship. You get the deal fixed from a relationship. No money out of your own pocket, correct? So all you've done at this point, I mean, I don't want to sell you short. This is amazing, but you've gone on Facebook and found a property, right? And talked and built great relationships.
Yep, exactly. It's that simple.
That's amazing. That's crazy. Okay, so cool. We're there. Now you have to find a tenant once this house is all ready to go, correct?
Yep, correct.
And that's just going to be through the systems you already have in process. Just the
Yep,
run of the mill. Now, what do you think a house? First of all, what was the purchase price on this house?
165.
No way. That's amazing. So a
And it's
house
a
near
it's a three. Sorry, go ahead.
no, go
It's
ahead.
a it's a three it's a 3 unit property as well.
Okay. So 3 beds, 2 baths.
So it's all 2 bed, one bath units.
So it's a triplex.
Triplex. Yep,
Wow. So you got a
yeah.
triplex near the stadium for 165. Is that typical or is that normal out there? Or is that like you get a smoking deal there?
No, that's pretty well below the average in that area. Yep.
Okay, yeah, because here in Denver at Coors Field, if you wouldn't get nothing is going for 165. So that's awesome, man. That's a smoking deal. Okay, so you got a triplex for 165. What do you think that's going to rent for in each unit?
It'll be around 1,500, give or take, per unit. The bottom unit will probably go closer to like 1425.
Okay. That's
Yep.
absolutely insane. So that's a smoking deal. So okay, like what's the next one? Like I can see the wheels turning. You probably got like, I don't know, 3 or 4 more deals like in the works. What's going on now?
Yeah. So interesting enough, this guy that has been feeding me these off-market properties, it's a great working relationship because the more deals he closes, the more he gets essentially from this
Yeah.
company that he's getting all these off-market deals from. So the more deals I close with him, the bigger my business is going to grow, and so is his.
Yeah.
So we have a very mutually beneficial relationship. His wife is actually a realtor. Also spoke with her; she's interested in joining the team as well. So it's been a really great relationship, all through a simple Facebook message.
Okay, so you're going to keep working with this guy to get the future deals?
Yeah, that's one avenue. I can also look at the on-market properties. I think right now, with interest rates, I think the cap rates and interest rates, there's actually a negative return in the first year,
Mhm.
first 2 years sometimes. So I'm going the off market route right now,
Yeah.
until things change.
Yeah, and you're sticking to that Chicago area?
Yeah, Chicago area. I'm really not opposed to any of the surrounding areas in Chicago. I just want to be in a developing community or a community that's already been established, I guess.
Yeah, and you're still on year 1. So dude, you've already got 18 deals with your day-to-day business, and then you bought a triplex already in year 1. I'm guessing you had zero real estate experience prior to this?
Yeah, I have no experience. Just YouTube and bigger pockets. That's about it. Just read a lot of books.
That's the way champions train, man. YouTube and bigger pockets. That's pretty awesome. Okay, so no family members were like, big developers or anything like that?
Nope, nope, not really. No.
So no family members, but so many people say that this is impossible. You can't do that. In 1 year, there's no way I could get to that point. What would you tell like a brand new guy? All right, you're 26, he's 24. He's 24 years old, and he's like, dude, my wife just got pregnant. I'm a teacher right now. What are you gonna tell this guy to get to the point you're at now?
Just consistency. Just being dedicated to your goals. Drawing up that roadmap of where you want to be in year 1, 3, and 5, and just figuring out the activities that you need to generate income for yourself. A lot of that also comes in line with getting a great mentor. So I would say just having a great mentor, and just building those systems and being consistent with the time you're dedicating to those systems is huge.
Okay. Yeah, consistently like Riley, man. Consistently just like Riley. In 1 year, you two can have 18 deals and your first triplex purchased. Um, and be ready to go on deal number 2 because you already got the relationships built. Anything we're missing, Riley? Anything I'm forgetting to ask you?
No, not that I can think of. Nope.
How can people get hold of you?
They can give me a call at 630-470-0580. I'm also on Instagram, Facebook. You can check me out anywhere.
That's awesome. Okay, yeah, definitely do. Check this guy out, man. And remember, he was on this podcast first. Because when they
This is my
got you on,
first. This
yeah,
is
when they
my
got you
first
on Bigger
podcast,
Pockets,
by the way.
man, I want them to know. I want them to know this was the first one. This was the springboard for everything. So, when Brandon and all those guys have you on Bigger Pockets, and all the other real estate guys have you on their show, this was the first one. So this is like my Grant Cardone moment, where his first podcast would have probably been pretty cool too.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
all right, here's the big question I got to ask you then, Riley. At the end
All
of
right.
every podcast, we ask the same question. This is it's a high level thinking question. We are LandLife. I buy and sell dirt and trees for the most part. If you could buy land anywhere in the world, where would it be and why?
I would say probably the Amalfi Coast. I've never been to Europe.
Yeah.
It's definitely on the list. My fiance and I are looking to get married there, so I have a feeling I'm going to want to stick around there. So
Yeah.
just a really beautiful place. I've never been, so I think it's just the curiosity behind it.
Yeah. So my family's from England, so we go back every now and again, and they're all still there. One thing you'll notice that's totally different between Europe and here is you'll be on the train just going from place to place, and you'll look out the window and there's a giant castle from like Game of Thrones, and it's just there, just on this hill. And nobody thinks anything of it. Like everybody thinks it's super normal to have a castle. And then, you go down a little bit further and there's like a World War II fort on the side of the water, and here we just don't have things like that. I mean, I live in
Wow.
Denver. We have hills, trees, and mountains, I guess, but there's nothing like that. I mean, we're so far removed from that time in history. But yeah, if you like that kind of stuff, man, it's definitely out there.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Riley. Thank you so much for being on, man. Guys, Riley, anything else before we take off?
No, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Awesome.
Glad we met.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I can't wait to see how things go in the future. Yeah, let's get back on in maybe like a year from now, and find out see if the goals were all met, and if that +6 happened, and or if it's +12 or 20, or if things got out of control and you bought, the Trump Tower. I don't know. It's possible. It's possible, man. The route you're going.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. See you next time on Land Life.